On this week's weekly video fishing forecast, we have a preview of the June edition of the Fisherman magazine. I'll tell you all about the tagging tournament that I attended last week with great fish tag research, and I will go around the map and I'll tell you about the fishing action that I've been experiencing myself and our correspondents check-in from around the island, all here at thefisherman.com.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Today is Thursday, May 25th, 2023, and we are coming to you from South Shore Marine Supply in Massapequa on Merrick Road. This place is your one-stop for boating and fishing needs. Now let's start off with a preview of the glossy edition of the Fisherman magazine. Kirk Fay has an excellent read on running and gunning for tuna with poppers. Max Finch, who you see on our reports from time to time, has an informative article on the flutter spoon technique that has been so hot this year. And New Jersey, Delaware managing editor Jim Hutchinson has all you need to know about the striper emergency regulations. In fact, if you want to get even more details, check out his podcast with Mike Wayne from the American Sport Fishing Association, where they take a deep dive into the issue. The link is in this video's description. Speaking of the tagging tournament, the event was a complete success. Over 200 stripers were tagged in total, and some prime candidates received satellite tracking tags as well. Most of the fish tagged were right off the Jersey shore and along Romer's Shoal. And for those looking for some big fish to the east of the island, know that most of the fish tagged were over 40 inches, with many going over 50 pounds getting a tag also. I know for a fact that Chris from Yozuri had 4 50s just to himself. Anything from light tackle, bucktailing, to plugging, to live eel fishing all worked. We should be seeing some of these fish start to move our way very soon if they haven't already.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
Another good reason to be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine is that you are automatically entered into our Dreamboat contest, and your chance to win a center console Steiger craft powered by Yamaha. $30 gets you 12 glossy issues plus all the digital issues sent to your inbox. It's the best deal going out there. Now, let's go to the 2023 Dreamboat Challenge update.
Now it's time for the Dreamboat update. It was another week of weakfish in the Dreamboat Challenge. 9 new weakfish entries came in this week and shook up the top 10 in that category. Perhaps most notably, challenge leader Eddie Terabile upgraded his weakfish to 6.63 pounds, but was then knocked out of the top 10 by this week's Tide Runner Barrage. Thomas Luciano is holding 10th place with his 7.31 pounder. Brian Ortel barely lifted himself into the 9th spot with his 7.32 pounder. Fred Liederman and Paul Albarano stand in a virtual tie with 7.5 pounds apiece, but Paul takes the higher spot because his weakfish was caught first. John Bratz was the only one to crack the top 5 with his 7.8 pound Tide Runner. Good enough for 4th place. This means you'll need at least 7.32 pounds to make the leaderboard next week. There were also 5 sea robins entered this week. Only one cracked the top 5, but Joe Mendez managed to knock out Eddie Terabile Downerong with his 2.4 pounder, and Chris Nielsen found himself in 4th place after entering his 2.64 pound sea robin. Kyle Kraus clawed his way into the overall top 3 with his 2.2 pounder that was good enough for 9th place in the category. Rounding out the entries for week 4 is a lone scup caught by Robert Chifo, weighing in at 2.26 pounds and holding 2nd place for the scup category. The current top 3 for the tournament looks like this. Kenneth Fay holds 3rd place with 10 points. Kyle Kraus sits in 2nd with 11, and Eddie Terabile still holds the lead with 15 overall points. The Dreamboat Fishing Challenge is the Fisherman subscriber-only multi-species fishing competition with a chance to win a new 21-foot Steiger Craft center console powered by Yamaha, along with many other great prizes. Visit thefisherman.com to subscribe and get all the details so you can be part of the action.
Now let's get to the upcoming events. The Surf Rats Bowl Tournament starts June 1st and continues through July 5th. On June 3rd is the AllPro Fishing Tournament and Fair in Lindenhurst. On Saturday, June 10th is the South Shore Invitational Charity Fishing Tournament out of Robert Moses. I'll be there. Also on June 10th is the Scotty's Offshore Shootout at a Point Lookout. To get all the details on these events, visit thefisherman.com/events. Now let's head around the map and I'll tell you what I've been hearing. Let's start up in the North Shore this week. I heard the porgy fishing was consistent again on any of the rocky piles from Oyster Bay all the way out to Montauk. Stripers seemed to move a little east from last week to the Triangle, Middle Grounds, and even out in the Gut where they were loaded up with fish up to 30 pounds. Some weakfish have been prowling around the Northport Harbor area up to 12 pounds, and a few are being caught in the Sound with the porgies. On the west end, bluefish and bass are inside Jamaica Bay taking top waters and live baits, while the breezy area is seeing a decent bass bite after dark. Raritan Bay also had a good body of larger stripers, as I mentioned before. The back bay of Jones also had a good pick of fluke going on right now. Moving east to central Long Island, weakfish are set up in the holes throughout the Great South Bay with Heckscher and Copeg Hole, some other good places to try. Fluking in the Fire Island Inlet from the bridge to the light is consistent with a decent pick of keepers and shorts. You can find bluefish just about anywhere but the Mauritius Narrows, and all around the Great South Bay docks both seem to be good bets. Mauritius Inlet is also seeing a good run of blues with a bite of bass after dark for those fishing off the rocks. The East End is certainly alive right now with weakfish up to 12 pounds reported from inside Peconic Bay's rips and drop-offs, while porgies up to 3.5 pounds are hammering clam baits and small jigs around Shelter Island. Shinnecock Bay is seeing better fluke in the back areas west of the bridge and way north of the inlet. Montauk is seeing a spectacular bass bite right now in the rips off the point with fish up to 40 pounds reported. All methods are working from bucktails to diamond jigging to trolling. Some huge bluefish to 20 pounds have also been mixed in with the bass. News 12 meteorologist Rich Van Ohlen said the fishing was a little spotty this week, but he does have this weekend's weather forecast. Rich.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Let's check that weekend forecast and see what we got going on. You can always check your favorite apps, weather tools, weather sites, whatever you got as we get closer. This is a general heads-up, general overview on the upcoming weekend across Long Island. So water temps 50s to near 60, coming up a little bit now. We're seeing wave heights. Saturday looks okay, a general 2 to 4. More of a roll and a swell developing from the southeast with some 4 to 8s. There's a storm south of us across the Carolinas around Virginia, which will get very close to the Jersey shore, but I think kind of retreat south. I mean, the models are kind of hinting at that. So there may be a little window there Sunday when it gets a little bit lumpy, but then goes back to being a little, more comfortable in terms of wave heights for Monday into Memorial Day. We've got Saturday, looks okay. Light and variable breeze going southeast onshore late in the day. It will get cloudier, but the rain, the shield of green, stays south across New Jersey and Delaware. I think it'll be all right. Sunday looks a little more of an east-southeast, a little more of a variable breeze on Monday, Memorial Day. And again, just cloudy with the showers off to the south. High tide Saturday for the morning hours, South Shore for the afternoon. And there's a high temp Saturday, 60s, 70s. 60s, 70s on Sunday would look pretty good. Check the Guru quickly, and there's Saturday, and not much wind. Light and variable breeze, general 3 foot maybe, a little roll in the ocean from the southeast. Again, these are all southeast kind of swells coming in. Sunday we got more of an east-southeast breeze, maybe a little bit of a chop coming in, a little more wave height, maybe 3 to 4. And there's Memorial Day on Monday. Back to light and variable. Morning looks good. Late in the day, a little onshore flow, a general maybe 3 feet there on the ocean. So overall, it's a pretty good-looking weekend in terms of weather for the holiday weekend. Be safe, enjoy, get out there and catch them up. Matt, back to you.
Now let's check in with Captain Timothy O'Rourke from Montauk. Tim.
Thanks, Matt. Well, greetings everybody from Montauk. It's been another really good week. The weather's finally cooperated, so fishing keeps getting better and better. Striped bass, bluefish, that's doing really well. Anything from trolling, diamond jigging's been the really big ticket, and even the fly fishing and light tackle's been great. Fluke fishing starting to pick up. We've had a couple double-digit fish. The Miss Montauk had one over 10 pounds. The Viking's been picking away pretty good. Viking's still doing really good on the porgies and stuff like that up in the bay. The Viking 5-star is actually doing a Nantucket sleigh ride trip. This is for a really large fluke off Nantucket Shoals. I believe they still have some space. They're going to be leaving Friday and coming back early Sunday morning. Other than that, everything's going good. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Extra day to get out there and go fishing. Forecast is looking great, and we'll see you next week. Thank you, Matt.
From Sag Harbor, we have Will and Andy.
Thanks, Matt. Report this week out of Sag Harbor. Weak fishing has been still pretty strong, although there are definitely some gator blues in the mix, so that makes it kind of difficult to get through some of the weak fish and get those jigs down there. On the bottom fishing front, porgy's still going super strong, although the fluking has definitely been, I guess we'll say not as good as we'd hope, but each day and each week it is improving, so that's definitely a good sign.
All right, thanks, Will and Matt. So as Will said, the porgy and the weakfish bite has been super strong in the Peconic. Some bass bite picking up too, especially in Shinnecock area. Some really good striped bass to be found, whether that's live bunker, diamond jigs, etc. It's been really, really good. And also finally some tuna reports, a little bit offshore as well, hopefully moving into the midshore grounds as well soon. So stay tuned. We can't wait for the season. Back to you, Matt.
From Shinnecock, let's check in with Mike Dean.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, everyone. Pretty good fishing going on. We still have a lot of those gorilla blues roaming around in the bays, also off the beach, and some of the smaller ones that are pretty annoying back in the bays that I at least run into when trying to, get either some bass or weak fish. The weak fish are around in some spots, not just in Peconics, although that bite has been spectacular, along with a red-hot porgy bite. This wind and weather really has been tough to get for people to get out in the ocean. So in terms of, some of the bigger striped bass working bunker pods is kind of yet to be seen. Hopefully this weekend people get into them. I think it should probably happen with the fishing going on in Montauk and good fishing to the west of us. That bluefin bite out in Hudson Canyon still going on. I don't have numbers, but a number of guys have gone out there and have, some have said it's the best one they've seen in some time. So if you have the means, I highly recommend it. Friday, June 9th, the Manhattan Cup. I've been mentioning it the last few weeks. We're getting down the home stretch. We are starting to fill up on spots on the boat. So if you're thinking of doing it, now it's time to register. You can reach out to me leave a comment below on social media through our site, manhattancup.com. It's a spectacular day, like nothing you'll ever experience if you haven't been to one before. If you have been to one before, I hope you can join us again. So, like I said, don't hesitate to reach out. You can just go online and register, and easy as that, and just show up. We'll do everything else, the boat, the captain, the food, the whole shebang. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to finding out how this weekend's going to pan out. I think it's going to be a good one for striper fishing. So let us know how you do, and I'll talk to you next week. Back to you, Matt.
From Northport, we have Cow Harbor Bait and Tackle.
Hey folks, now's the time to get out. I mean, the fishing is still red hot. You got fish on the outside, the bay's still got stuff going on. Weak fish seem to be moving out. The reports are, spoke to local charter boat guys, party boat guys, and they're doing really well with the porgies. And fluke, Phil says the go-to is 15 to 30 feet east of Eaton's Neck. Work that squid and spearing. The fish, they stack up at different times of the day on certain parts of the tide, so you just got to figure it out. And it's just been great fishing. Bluefish, wow, what a comeback it is. These tackle busters are out there knocking guys around. Gals are having a good time too. It's just so much going on. I'm busy in the rod shop trying to keep up with the builds, keeping those repairs going, and then organizing for our second shop. It's going to be fantastic. I think we're looking after Memorial Day weekend. We're going to be opening up there. I'm going to give you some great ideas. Location is going to be over in Halesite and Huntington. It's going to be all the same stuff that we do over there as well. And it's going to be great to see all new customers. Meeting so many folks coming over and introducing themselves and talking about how excited they are. And that makes me feel great. Until next week, I bid you all peace and tight lines.
Let's check in with Captree Bait and Tackle and Fuel with Brendan Rutigliano.
Hey guys, Captree's been awesome lately. Bluefish, just like everywhere else, has been on fire. We are so happy that they stuck around, especially after that storm last weekend. Gorilla Blues, honestly, they're mostly on bait now, but you could pretty much pick them up with everything if you really try and, you're out there long enough. Fluke is also heating up. A lot of people were just going for blues because it was just so easy to catch them. But even the Captree boats are doing really well with them. And nighttime fishing has been really heating up lately. Blues, bass, and fluke, even on our piers, has been pretty awesome. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
From the Fire Island area in Great South Bay, let's check in with Captain Al Lorenzetti.
Hey Matt, Fire Island report. Fishing is excellent. Bass, blues, weakfish. Pretty much all you want anywhere. The bass are anywhere from the inlet all the way into the back bay areas on live bait, on clam chum, on plugs, big bluefish in the mid bay and the shallows in the back bay areas on plugs, also chewing up the live bait when you're bass fishing. And weakfish now, not only down at Ocean Beach, but up in Heckscher State Park as well, they've been caught, and some in West Channel. So they really kind of spread out now, which is good because the boats can now spread out and fish different areas instead of all being on top of each other around Ocean Beach. Fluke fishing still a little picky, getting a little better every day. Slip gut's kind of hurting that down near the inlet areas, but the further back in the bay you go, the cleaner it gets. And so anyway, Matt, fishing is excellent, Fire Island, and enjoy the holiday, Memorial Day weekend, the air show and barbecues and all of that. Have a great time.
We have Captain Vince also on the Great South Bay with his report. Vince.
Thanks, Matt. Things have cooled off a little bit around Fire Island with the cooler weather that came in over the last week or so. The striped bass are still here. There's some big fish. I caught a beauty myself, about 45, 46 inches the other day between Cedar Beach and the Sore Thumb on a AllPro spoon. It was a great battle, tons of fun. Weakfish still here. There's still a bite. East Channel, Ocean Beach, Point of Woods area, but there's a lot of pressure on them. So you got to be like one of the first boats there at sunrise and one of the last boats leaving at sunset to get a good fish and a good bite. The fluke, I've been a little disappointed. 2 weeks ago I reported some serious uptick in the bite itself, but it's cooled off, The back channels are still carrying some. It seems like the bite's a little better towards Nassau County than it has been towards Suffolk and the Fire Island area. But you got to be out there. It could turn on any day. You got to get out there with your line, work it every day, and I think you're going to all be rewarded for it. This is Captain V. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Matt.
From Jones Beach Bait and Tackle, Brendan Rutigliano is back with reports from the West.
Jones Beach has been on fire lately. Dogfish, bluefish, striped bass, fluke, all on the piers. Bluefish has been awesome on the pier. Literally everybody's been catching them. Starting Friday the 26th, we'll be open in the shop daily until November. So stop on by. You can see all of our new offerings like Super Strike. Bluefish bonanza on the pier, bunker, bucktails, honestly anything, but bunker has definitely been the best. Dogfish, we've still been getting those giant dogfish that are like so much fun because they're like 4 feet. It's ridiculous. In the area, there's more striped bass, there's some porgies, blowfish. It's really getting there, but honestly, the bluefish and dogfish are kind of like what everybody's doing because it's so much fun. So get out there and have some fun.
With our Flying Freshwater report, we have Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters.
Hello, Matt. Well, it's been another exciting week here on Long Island. The River Bay Outfitters ran a trip out to the jewel of Long Island, the Peconic River. It was a fantastic time. There were 10 of us out there with our canoes and kayaks, and we had a lot of nice fishing. No bluegills, which was surprising, but bass, a lot of, and a lot. I must have caught 20 pickerel. It was a lot of fun. It's terrific out there. Saltwater, we're really kicking it up. Still a lot of bluefish around. I'm hearing mostly out east, out in the Shinnecock area, there's a lot of bluefish. A lot of fun on poppers. Get out there now when you can because, well, I don't know. It's been pretty cool. But anyway, get out there where you can because there's a lot of fishing out there. Weakfish, stripers, bluefish, you name it, it's there. So until next week, tie lines, everybody.
Let's check with David Rogers. Dave.
Thanks, Matt. Fishing in the Western Sound is in full effect. There are bluefish and striped bass here in large numbers. I was also excited to see that there are full-size adult bunker schools spread throughout the Western Sound. Striped bass and bluefish are attacking the bunker schools, and if you can manage to snag one, you're in for a treat. This week I was able to get on the water and live line a bunker, and the result was this beautiful 14-pound bluefish. Now if it's a bass you're after, the flutter spoon has been catching big bass even when bluefish are around. Just make sure to get the flutter spoon to the bottom of the water column so you have a better chance at a bass. Anglers chunking on shore and from boats are also having good results catching striped bass that are slot and over slot, especially during the night. When it comes to fluke and porgy, they are here in the Sound, but the reports I'm getting is the bite has been slow overall. Well, that's all I got for this week's report, and as always guys, make sure to check out Funky Fishing on YouTube to get a more detailed look into what's biting around the island. Stay groovy everyone, and back to you Matt.
Let's check in with Max Finch from the Connecticut side of the Western Sound.
What a week of fishing in Long Island Sound. We've seen some monster gator blues show up. There's still big bass crushing bunker on our deep water reefs. They're starting to move shallow now that our bunker is starting to enter the harbors. There's been weak fish reports all along our beaches and in our harbor. Porgies are biting, sea bass are biting. It's been a really good week. The fluke remains a little slow, but we should see that pick up. With striped bass, the triangle area is still the best spot to, try to get your PB. There's big bass out there. We got butterfish, mackerel, bunker, and squid around, so there's plenty of food for them. And our water temps are staying cold, and that's why the bass are staying and not pushing through so fast. Behind the islands, it's been pretty good too with the bunker moving close in. I've seen a lot of like mid 30 to 40-inch fish on docks around the bunker schools, throwing the flutter spoons. And then, of course, guys trolling wire. Mojo are claiming some really big fish. 2 fish over 50 pounds caught right in our backyard this past week. There's been some bluefish. Man, I've seen some probably pushing 16 pounds. There's a lot of that 10 to 14-pound class around. And at sunset, these freaking blues have been hammering these bunker schools. That's always a lot of fun on top water. If you're having a hard time, remember, move your belly hook and just run a single hook on a back, like on a pencil popper or the dock or your favorite popper. Fluke fishing remains slow. Guys are still shooting across. There are some people putting it in our area, like along our beaches. We've seen a lot of shorts. We haven't heard of too many bigger fish caught, but as the water temps rise a little, we should see the fluking pick up, hopefully. Porgies are moving on our side now. Cockini Shoals, Green's Ledge, 28C. We've seen some really big hubcaps. 32A has a really good sea bass bite going on. I know guys getting their limits. And then also 32A has a good striper and bluefish bite at night. Anchoring up, chumming, chunking. We've seen some really nice fish caught. Thanks and good luck.
Raul Ortiz, the urban angler, has a report from around the city.
Hey guys, Raul Ortiz here, the urban angler with my report. As you know, fishing continues still to be good all around New York. Upstate New York, my buddy Alfonso's out there. They say they're catching on top water, on bait. Any kind of lures you want to throw, they're still there. Fish from schoolie size to 40 pounds. Here in the city as well, still hot. Schoolies and big fish pretty much to 40 pounds. Last week seemed like it was a really good week with a lot of big fish being caught. And actually was fishing last night. And just blind casting, and the fish were there, catching stripers and blues all night long till the sunrise. And by word of mouth, I heard that the bluefish are in the western part now of the Long Island Sound, so we're pretty much surrounded with bluefish and stripers everywhere. We've got a few more weeks of this before these fish get on out of here. Besides that, there's not much I can say. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Alfonso, for the pictures. And all I would have to say, guys, is the time is now. Get out there, do what you have to do. They're hitting anything, plastics, top water, any kind of lure. They're pretty much hitting it, guys. So, just take your time, be patient, and be confident.
Captain Mike Sentry has the latest from Staten Island.
Thanks, Tim and Matt. Hope all is well. Well, guys, Mike Sentry here from Anglers of Legend Sportfish, Boatworks, and Seafood. Sorry with my voice. The pollen is horrible this year, as you all probably experiencing right now. But on the home front, striped bass, the big girls are definitely here to stay. Live lining eels the old way, the Chuck Tillman Manny way. Everybody's pretty much on top of that game right now, doing a hell of a job with it. So got Daniel Fernandez out there slamming down the bass. Phil also with the big bass, and they're doing a hell of a good job with them. It's a great time to get out there if you want to break your personal records. Some mid-50s and some low 60s have been caught on striped bass from the reports that I've been seeing and getting. On the offshore bite, Stanley and his friends, can't remember all of their names, but I'll try. You got Joey Above, George Pika, the Russian Spy, Stanley Watts, went out there multiple times during the past weeks. They were greeted with some strikes and ended up losing a couple. But yesterday they were rewarded with a nice 93-incher. Beautiful bluefin. Managed to get a DNA sample out of it, send that out to the lab, and that's going to give us a nice history on this fish, the populations, the growth, sex, habits, food consumptions, and next of kin. So that's what we're trying to do, is map out the bluefin population on the western side, which is us, United States. Eastern side would be straight off Gibraltar, Spain, Morocco. So stay tuned, guys, and let this wind calm down, be safe. Make sure you follow all the safety protocols. God bless. Tight lines.
Lastly, we check in with Captain Benn Gilmour from Marina Pez Vela down in Costa Rica.
Hey there guys, how's it going? This is Ben Gilmour from down here in Costa Rica and the Marina Pez Vela in Cape Bars. Guys, this week's fishing report, we've still got some nice sail fishing going on right now. Just the other day we released 8 sailfish, which was an incredible result. That day we caught 1 fly fishing as well. This week we've had 3 sailfish on the fly, which is pretty cool for our anglers. We've had some good dorado fishing. This week we've had dorados up to 40 pounds, some really nice fish. Further offshore, 30 to 40 miles, some days we've had some good yellowfin tuna. And along the coastline we've had some really big rooster fish. Just the other day we had a rooster about 45 pounds. And right now, guys, through the American summer is when we get most of our big rooster fish. 40 to 70 pound fish turn up, and for those guys it's good to use a live bonito, maybe a big live look down, something like that. So guys, would love to see you down here over the summer. We're waiting here, we got plenty of great boats here at the Marina Pez Vela, and would love to see you down here soon. Handing back to you, this is Ben Gilmour, Jackpot Sport Fishing.
Remember to like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a new video on YouTube. Check out this video's description on YouTube for all the related links and index for specific reports. Please support our correspondents by visiting their websites and their social media pages. Don't forget this video is available as a podcast on iTunes and Google Podcasts. Search for the Fisherman Magazine podcast and subscribe so you can listen to this broadcast and our other content. This weekend's holiday weather is looking really good, but let's keep in mind about why we do have this holiday and all the people who sacrificed so we have what we have today. Enjoy this weekend.